To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave para peeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Shawn Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Live 2.0. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I am a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my haunted home, my very haunted home, where I live. And it's quiet now, so I hope they're still wherever ghosts sleep. I hope they're sleeping and you don't hear me. Keep your eye on the dream catcher there. Whenever it gets active here, that'll start spinning and rocking. But it's been quiet today. It might not stay that way, especially with my guest today. You guys all know him. He comes with his own posse of ghosts, so that'll be interesting. And he's in the green room. I'll bring him right out. Um, let's check the prayer urn. Betty R. Hi, Betty from Washington State, I would assume. I admire I admire you entering the seminary at this stage in your career. Well, thank you very much. My son is strong in his faith and considering the seminary. Any words of advice for him? Could you also offer up a prayer for more to answer the call to clergy? That's a beautiful request, Betty. And my best advice is: Are we talk? If we're talking a young child, you just keep him active in the church, catechism. If you're a Catholic, he's already baptized, I would assume. Um, Catechism, confirmation, going to church a lot, join some Bible groups and things of that nature. Keep him active. He'll know when the time comes that that's his calling. If he's already at the age to getting ready to go to college and considering it, just to stay in constant prayer. God will answer his prayers and let him know if it's the calling for him. But I will. And you can always reach out to me later. I can put him in contact with the vocations director at the church I belong to, United States Old Catholic Church, and they can talk and see if maybe he might be interested in the seminary for the church that I belong to. But yes, let's offer up a nice prayer to that's a beautiful request. Okay, I offer this prayer up to Betty and her son and all out there feeling the calling to the ministry. In the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. O Lord, send workers for your harvest, so that the precepts of your only begotten Son may always be obeyed, and his sacrifice be everywhere renewed. Look with favor upon your family and ever increase its numbers. Enable it to lead its sons and daughters to the holiness to which they are called, and to work for the salvation of others. Through Christ our Lord, amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Please, Betty, reach out to me and let me know how that's going. And I'd like to know, also like to know what age your son is, and maybe I can give him some further advice. Let's check the mailbag. James W. from Montana. Montana bought some property, an old farm. Uh-oh. Seems there's an entity here targeting my animals. Just the animals. Advice? P.S. Odd illnesses plaguing my dogs. This is so interesting because I actually had that. Most people that know me know that in addition to being in clergy, most of my adult life I've worked in the animal care industry. I'm a veterinary technician. I had that happen to one of my mastiffs once during a time where I had not only battling something here in the home that wasn't nice, that followed my wife and I home from a case, but I was also working a couple of other cases of a very dark nature. And one of my mastiffs one day just blows up like he's having a massive allergic reaction to something, and vomiting, blowout diarrhea, wouldn't eat, all puffed up. Took him to the, like I would say within 24, 48 hours, took him, I was working at a specialty center at the time. I took him there back and forth several times, had all these tests run on him. and he was given shots of steroids and whatever else they do when they think a dog's, having a massive allergic reaction to something. Nothing worked. They could never figure out what was wrong with him. My mentor at the time said to me, look for a demonic calling card. I had never heard that term before. She goes, if you find it, you'll know it. The demonic has laid something in your home that's directly making your dog sick. And until you get that out of the house, it's not going to get better. I didn't know what I was looking for. So I started first. Excuse me. I started first with his kennel, and I turned his kennel upside down. And I find this thing about the size of my pinky. It looks like a cross between wood and putty or clay. I didn't know what it was, but I know that I didn't like seeing it. I didn't like it being there. It was out of place. It was in his kennel, and I took it to be analyzed. They couldn't figure out what it was. I was advised to bury it in the backyard before I fill the hole in, burn it, and when it's burnt to a crisp, put the flames out with some holy water, throw some blessed metals in the hole, say the most powerful prayers of protection and banishment that I could say over this object, and then fill the hole in. As soon as I did that, my dog made a miraculous, I'm talking like within an hour, made a miraculous turnaround. All the swelling went away. He ran right to his food bowl. His next bowel movement, I noticed, I was watching him, was normal. Um, there you go. So they will target what you love. Animals and children are the first. I don't like hearing that. So, and you're on a ranch and a farm, probably going to be hard to find a demonic calling card. But if these are your personal pets in the house, look for that. Look for something that's out of place around their bedding or where they stay that could be affecting them and get it out of there. Get somebody over to the house, clergy, to do a minor exorcism on the property in the home and do some cleansings and blessings on that whole area, and keep me posted, and I will keep you in my prayers. I'll light a candle for you after the show, James. Okay? Alrighty. Scary stuff, especially when it's your loved ones and animals. All right, if there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there, keep in mind my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So trust me, brothers and sisters, I know times are tough. But if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. If you're having issues of a spiritual nature, not paranormal, and you'd like to speak to me, I'm also a certified spiritual advisor, intuitive coach, listener. I'm a great listener. There's a place where you can make an appointment on the website to speak with me. I have one motto: you talk, I listen, no judgment. And I'll do the best I can to help you with your spiritual issues. Don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called Introduction to Spiritual Warfare Course/Book. On that page, you'll find not only one, but both of my books: God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. And if you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So it's a no-brainer. You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. How cool is that? Scroll a little further down. Oh, you can get the book a little less expensive at Amazon, but if you get it off the website, it leaves my office and I autograph it for you, and it comes to you in a house blessing kit. Speaking of house blessings, beautiful house blessing kit, everything you need to um, keep your place, your camp clean, so to speak. Okay, scroll a little further down. You'll see the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course. I offer a 12-week online college level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. And this is the perfect course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, putting up a good fight, perhaps the fight of your life against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. This is the course for you. You can enroll in the course at the website. If you want to have more information about the course before making that type of commitment, there is a Shawn Whittington's Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course Facebook page. You can go there and read about the course or just reach out to me. I'm approachable, I'm easy to get a hold of, and we can talk about the course and see if it's right for you. No, it's not going to teach you how to do exorcisms. That's a completely different calling. And but this course is spiritual warfare through my eyes, what I've seen, what I've learned that works for me over many years being in this field of deliverance ministry. So there you have it. Okay, the moment of truth and everything else, the moment of magic, the moment of ghost busting and all things. This guy's so cool. I love him. I respect him. He's funny. He's handsome. He's got a great family, great web series, great books.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
um, you know, you all know him. You all love him. That's why you tuned in. Papa from Gallo Family Ghost Hunters, Bobby J. Gallo.
Hey, how are you, Rev?
I'm doing good. I have to apologize. You posted, you shared the post that I put out there about today's show, and you said, "Oh, interview with a paraceleb." I'm sorry, no paraceleb, just me today, brother. But then I got to thinking after I sent that message to you. Of course, it's an interview with a paraceleb. You're the paraceleb.
Oh, no, 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 no. And I got to tell you, first of all, congratulations on the series. It's phenomenal. I binged the entire thing, and I have to tell you, it sufficiently freaked my wife out because, as you may or may not know, she went through something pretty deep, which I don't even talk about in my books. Because for a while she really didn't want to talk about it, but we've been through some of the darker periods, and a lot of times when you watch that show, Legion of Exorcists, it strikes, even though they're dramatizations, it strikes you as the truth. I don't know what it is. I just guess, but you just know what these things actually happened, because a lot of these things you can't make up. But yeah. So I want to congratulate you. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it does definitely hits home for a lot of us in this field.
Thank you, brother. And I know you mean that. And we're all very proud of it. I don't know if there'll be a season two. We haven't heard. We might hear something now that the strike's over. But
Mm-hmm.
we were working on it since before the pandemic. So there was a lot of hard work that went into it. And yeah, interviews and them doing the research on the cases and you
Sure.
know. Um, but yeah, even my own wife, who's been through, both of us have been, well, me twice, her once, and she's
Mm-hmm.
still suffering of the after effects of that attack. We've been through that dark stuff too, and I'm telling you, I had to watch the show in another room, sitting at the kitchen table, watching it through the kitchen, and the TV's on the other side of the family room. I felt like I had to watch it from a distance, and then my wife too. This is right before she goes to bed, so
Right.
she actually got freaked out on some of the episodes. We didn't see it coming. She didn't think that would happen to her. But she would have to stay up for a couple of hours after the show and watch like reruns of like Everybody Loves Raymond or Two and a Half Men or whatever I
Right.
could find.
Yep.
Um, so it's not for everybody. And I understand I do have people that have known me all my life and love me and are close to me and they wish me the best of luck, but they would call and say, "Listen, I'm going to tell you now, I can't watch that stuff. I hope the show's a big hit. I love you. I pray for you, but I just want you to know that I can't watch that show." And I get it and I understand. So it is what it is, but I do think from the production company to the director to Eli to everybody involved behind the scenes, I couldn't be more prouder of the work, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
how's your, I think I refer to that as being a lot of people that I help through issues like you and your wife have gone through.
Mhm.
They never want to hear from me again. And I don't, that's not, they love me and they appreciate what
Right.
I did for them, but I get it. They're going through like post demonic stress disorder.
Right.
And to
Oh,
see my
absolutely.
face and to continue to talk to me, it
Well,
just keeps bringing all of those memories back.
well, the thing is, we didn't know you when this happened. Unfortunately, I wish I did, but we did get through it with the help of 3 people. I mean, we had an exorcist, a Catholic priest, and a shaman all involved in
Wow.
this. Finally, and it took a while. I mean, it was like getting over a bad flu. You didn't get over it like that. It gradually went away. It was just like, if you have a bad stink in your home, it gradually goes away. It just doesn't go away all at once. And derailed us for a number of years. And the thing is, a lot of people say, oh, a lot of this is, mental or whatever. It isn't, because I'll never forget the one time I was getting so angry at whatever this attachment was attacking my wife at the time, that one night, because she said that there was not one in her head, but a whole bunch of them. And I said to her, I got really angry and I said, leave her alone and take me. Well, wouldn't you know it? I went to sleep, and in the middle of the night, I was awoken by what were dozens of voices in my head. And I sprung up out of the bed and I said, oh my God, they're really doing it. They're really doing what I just asked them to do. And it took all of my strength. This is a God's honest truth. It took all of my strength, and I said, "Get the hell out of my head right now!" And with all of my will, and they did, And all of a sudden, there was silence again. But I had a brief taste of what she was going through constantly. She could not get them out of her head. Finally, we got rid of them, and they've been gone to this day. But she's always afraid that that's going to happen again, and she'll tell you she wouldn't wish that on her worst enemy. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
And,
when she
and,
watches your show, she's like, that comes flooding back, that memory, and you know and you say it's not for everybody, but I have to tell you right now, I think it should be at least for everybody in the entertainment. No, I'm sorry, the paranormal field. I notice I said entertainment because many people think that this is only entertainment. And the people in the paranormal field that think this is all fun and games, it can be fun. I mean, let's face it, ghost hunting could be fun, but there's also the realization that what we're dealing with there out in the field are very real. These are very real energies. And we've come under attack because I took my kids back in the day, and maybe I could have taken more precautions than we did, because we were listening to a certain segment of the field that said this is all love and light and these are all benign and that there was nothing to be afraid of. And it was, then we realized that, yeah, maybe there is. And we, like I said, it derailed us for a couple of years, and we didn't get back into this until we knew what we were doing.
well, you say that, and this is what first comes to mind. The majority of the cases that come across my table now, um, it would be nice if I just had a regular mom and pop hunting case that came across my table, but now it seems to be all dark, and I have some students now that as soon as they were enrolled in my school,
Mm-hmm.
now that's the only cases that come across their desk. It is the way, it's like you open up that barn door
You're right.
and be ready for it. But a lot of the cases that come to me are people,
Right.
this new generation up and coming ghost hunting teams, ghost busting teams, paranormal investigators that just jumped. They went out and bought some equipment,
That's
got
right.
some friends. They went out. They didn't have any training, no clue really what they were doing. They found themselves at the wrong place at the wrong time, saying and doing the wrong thing. Now they have attachments. So what I admire about you and your family is that first I love the whole concept of the family unit being, because there's nothing stronger than a family unit. So I love the fact that you guys do this together. But after having gone through what you went through,
Mm-hmm.
it's a testament to how passionate you are about this field because you continue to do it. But now
Right.
for all of the people out there that want to do what you do, um, let's give them. I'm going to shut up now and let you get on your soapbox, if you will, and tell everybody what they should do entering this field, and maybe tell them how you protect your family, yourself and your
Right.
family now from doing this. Like I don't even want to take Sharon on cases anymore.
Right.
She's not supposed to even be here any longer, but
Right.
she survived her attack. But she's so stubborn. I have to sometimes sneak out to do cases.
Sure.
I because she wants to be right there, but they want to constantly go after what and who you love. And
Yep. Yep.
it makes you that's the
Yeah.
vulnerable part about it that a lot of people don't see.
Yeah, and I actually detail a lot of this, in the first book, Family Spirits, which is right there, that people can get. And it's actually a very, very thick book. And I'll tell you, like right in the center of the book, when while we're doing the investigations, that even our investigations, they started out as like these really wholesome ghost hunts that you get the family together, go to a historical location or go on a ghost walk, and it's fun. And wow, we got this orb and we got this photo. But as time went on, the whole atmosphere of ghost hunting got darker and darker and darker and darker. And you'll see, like in some of the later investigations in that book, some of the things that were starting to happen. And basically it ends just before that whole attachment. And but in the second book, Family Spirits 2, Purpose in the Paranormal, which is I'll just show the cover really quick. It's
Please do,
the,
yeah.
the blue one with the little angel angel wings on it, which was not even my idea. My cover designer did that. So anyway, I have now ground rules. And the ground rules are this. First of all, you should consider prayers of protection, and according to your faith, wear something, some kind of spiritual protection. We like medals of Saint Benedict. They have an exorcism inscribed on it. Of course, have them blessed and believe that it's going to work, because a lot of this is intention. And, they call this psychic phenomena for a reason, because a lot of it does happen in the mind. And, but that's only part of it, prayers before, prayers after. Another rule that I have, cardinal rule, is do not antagonize. You're going to get what you give out. There are benign ghosts out there, but earthbound spirits are earthbound for a reason. And sometimes that reason isn't benign. So you don't want to attract the negative energies, and the quickest way to do it is to antagonize. Don't take anything home from an investigation. This is very, very key. Objects can have attachments just like people can have attachments. If you see something cool in that cemetery that, you were just talking about something that seems out of place, that was perfect. Like I saw an old teddy bear that ended up, being haunted in a cemetery. It was on a grave, and when I put an EMF detector to it, the EMF just pinned. Some people would take that home. Do not take anything like that home. Don't even take a rock home. The only thing you get to take home is your experience and your evidence. Those are the two things that you take home. Do not ghost hunt in your home. You alluded to this before as well. Your home is your safe space. That's your sacred space. The easiest thing to do is to call something into your home. And then, as you know, it could be very, very tough to get rid of. And I have other rules as well that I detail in my books. But a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, Bobby, but why did it attack your wife? Why did it not attack your kids? And I think I just got lucky on that, on that part, because it was a really quick story. We were actually doing an investigation in Salem, Massachusetts, and my kids wanted to get a reading from a witch. They had a shop right in the middle of town that had like a real witches in there. I was all right, let the kids get a reading from a witch. Went in there, and Courtney, she's 8 years old at the time. and she's sitting down, and the witch is doing the reading. Now, this is a witch. Now, this is not a Christian. This is a witch, a pagan. All of a sudden, right in the middle of the reading, the witch stops. Her eyes get as big as saucers, like really, really, really big. And I said, uh-oh, this is going to be bad news. She goes, this is amazing. And I said, what is it? She goes, she is under the personal protection of Saint Michael.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's back up here. You're a pagan Wiccan, and you're telling me that she's under the protection of a Catholic saint, Saint Michael. And she's like, yes, he watches over her. They can't touch her. And I'm like, that's crazy. I actually talk about that in my book because it had such a profound effect. And Courtney to this day says, he's by me. I could feel him. She just knows it. And I think that's why my kids never got attacked. Why did myself and my wife have issues? I don't think we were grounded enough. I don't think we were taking the proper precautions, and we were opening ourselves up too much to these energies. She was using dowsing rods. And if people don't know anything about dowsing rods, those are conduit forms of communication, which basically means the spirit is working through you to make those move. The spirits,
or vice versa. Sometimes they attach to the wands and it comes right into your hands.
And they did, because after this attachment took place, that was another thing. I took my EMF detector and I put it to the dowsing rods, and it pinned. There was something attached to those dowsing rods. They shouldn't have been holding an EMF charge. And they were not just holding a small charge. It was crazy. So I got rid of those. Probably not in the way that would be recommended. I threw them in a dumpster. I probably should have buried them, but I didn't know at the time, and I was freaking out. So I will tell you this right now, folks. This stuff is real. Now we take precautions, but be that as it may, if you want to read our story, our books are a great place to start.
Well, I'm so glad that all worked out for you. Great books. One beautiful. I always think a book should also, that's the first thing people are going to see on the shelf is the book, or if they go to Amazon or your website.
Right.
So a book has to look good, and
Right,
your
of
books
course.
look great, and they're good. I highly recommend them. And this is what I want to say to you. I also know you do magic.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason for the hat today.
Well, I'm gonna try before the show ends. I'm gonna come back to see if I can get you to do.
See this envelope right here? That's part of the trick. You're probably wondering why that's sitting there. That's part of the trick. Just saying.
Well, this is what I want to tell you. In my humble opinion, knowing you, I see that commercial. I think it's BB3 TV commercial for you.
Yes.
With the two girls that talk about.
Well, those are actually for my books.
So this is what I want to say to you. I watched this commercial. I love it. I see it all the time. I think one of the greatest magic tricks you ever performed was to be able to go out ghost hunting with the two girls in that commercial and still be married to Renee.
I never went ghost hunting with those girls. Those girls are not my daughters. People think those are my daughters.
I know,
They do work for like Netflix and like a lot of these places, and they've almost become synonymous with our brand at this point and they love us. They really put their heart and their soul into the productions. I write the script and they pretty much run with everything else, and they just do a phenomenal job.
They do. They really do.
They really, really do. And every time I have another commercial done by them, it's better than the last one. But the ad twins are great. They're just phenomenal people. And
they're twins?
They're twins, identical twins.
Because one's blonde, one's brunette, and that kind of throws you off. But
it does throw you off.
Think about it, they do look a lot alike.
They're identical twins. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It is. It's cool. But people, and the reason we do that, and just to let people know, it's not an ego thing. We don't make any money on our web series, and we've been doing it now since 2011. The only way we make anything is through book sales, because YouTube demonetized us a long time ago when they were just demonetizing everybody because they just decided they didn't want to pay people. And all of the other platforms, we really just don't make anything. So the only way we make anything is through book sales. So that's why we run those before all of our content, in the hopes that, and it does work. I'll be honest with you, because Amazon our first book was published in 2019, and Amazon still has it stocked in their warehouses. And if anybody knows anything about that industry, if it doesn't sell that much, it goes to the POD graveyard, print on demand, which basically means they'll still have it on their website. But if somebody buys it, it takes like 2 weeks and they print that one copy and send it out. But we have it still stocked in the Amazon warehouses, which is quite a feat, actually, because unless you're a big name author, that's tough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to switch gears here a little bit because I know you're also a bit of a comedian. You do comedic magic and all that. You've got quite the body of work and resume in that field too. I'm going to put the darker entities on the back burner here, and I'm just going to talk about these people that you and I have encountered in our ghost hunting adventures that are just people that don't have a body any longer. And a lot of people come to me and say, I've been going to this one haunted place forever. And now I decided to start giving tours there. But as of late, after several years, now it seems like the ghosts there aren't happy that we're doing this, and I'm getting a bad vibe there. And so I'm going to tell you two quick stories, and then I'm going to just let you go again and put give us your feedback on these stories.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the kind of person that talks to these spirits as if they're right there standing next to me, and they're just a real person. They just don't have a body longer. And I'm thinking back to a time where I was at an old farm out in the middle of nowhere. There was no one around, and I'm in the bar area. Actually, it was the Amargosa Hotel, and I'm in Spooky Hollow, and I'm in the bar. There's no one around. It's in the middle of the day. And I'm at the end of the bar, and I start putting shots of whiskey up on the bar because then it was ghosts of miners are there. And I put some money out there, and I said, drinks on me, step up to the bar, everybody have a good time. I've got some equipment going, and all of a sudden, boots start walking towards, I can hear it on the wood floor.
Right.
Boots start walking towards the bar, and they're getting louder and louder and louder. And it's so, surreal that I'm leaning back like, what's going to happen when these footsteps get to the bar?
Right.
And at the last moment, this thing is right there. There's a hole in the wall, and this big horse sticks his head through the wall and goes right in my face. What I was wearing is probably still there because when I got to my car, I was naked. And I also learned how to fly that day.
That's hysterical.
Without wings, I learned how to fly. So when I went back in, I clearly heard the laughter of men. When I came back in, I clearly heard the laughter of men. They thought that was the funniest thing they had ever seen. So they got a good laugh on me. And after that, my experience there was phenomenal. When there's some darkness there, but the darkness didn't come to me. It was like that laughter and levity, even in the spirit realm, brought it up. Then many years later, I got special permission to investigate the home that was once owned by a famous Red Fox. I'll just throw it out there. He used to live here in town. He had a home. I was a big fan of Sanford and Son growing up, and him. And I got permission to go into this home and investigate. And it was dead all night long. Nothing going on. I don't try to make the ghosts do a lot of tricks, turn the flashlight on and off, roll the ball, knock on the wood. I don't try to do that. I just try to have conversation. End of the night, I'm ready to go. I'm saying, well, listen, do me at least this favor, Red, if you're here. I'm a big fan of a good joke, and I just learned a new one. I want to know what you think of it. I told this joke out loud, and as God is my witness, and I even caught it on tape, I heard laughter. Was it Red? I can't prove it, but I heard laughter at the end of my punchline. So I want to know what you think about that, because a lot of these ghost hunters now, this person, after years of going to this place, now these ghosts are tired of rolling the ball. They're tired of turning the flashlight on and off. They're tired of just being told to say yes or no, or you knock on the wood, knock, bop, bop, waiting for that. They're like circus tricks. You're asking them to do tricks.
Exactly.
And I think after a while, these people that just don't have a body longer, they get tired of that. So address dealing with ghosts
Mhm.
and it just being people that don't have a body any longer. Why they're still here, we don't know. Um, but talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've said in my books that these spirits are not trained monkeys here to entertain us. I say that all the time. And one of the reasons I believe we've gotten so much activity over the years is because we're so respectful. When they do give us communication, we're extremely grateful because it's trying to help us prove the afterlife. I think people in this world need more faith, and we're getting more and more secular and atheistic in this world. And I think that's the most important work we do as paranormal investigators. Is we're here to say, no, this isn't the end, and you better start giving the afterlife a little bit of thought. But yeah, they're definitely people too. And when you go to the paranormal attractions du jour, I like to call them, and those are like, because people ask me all the time, oh, have you been to the Stanley Hotel yet? Have you been to the Queen Mary? Have you been to this one or that one? I'm like, no, and we're not going to go to those things because I believe that, first of all, if there's any kind of residual energy in there, it's all drained out at this point. In fact, I was on an investigation to the Conjuring House, the real Conjuring House, and it was probably my least eventful investigation because I just think it's investigated out. I truly do. And if people are experiencing hauntings that are becoming darker, it's not because, I personally don't believe it's because the spirits there are becoming darker. I think it's because they're pulling them in. And I believe that's absolutely possible to do. Because look at, it and I know it, that if you just go to YouTube and you see some of these hundreds of paranormal series out there right now, it's one demon after another. And this is what they're going for. And if you go for that, you're going to get it, folks. And it's not fun. So that's one thing that you have to be on guard against.
Yeah, I've had people actually reach out to me. I give a tour here, I give a tour there, and we've had some attacks. Can you come and do a cleansing and blessing over the place? But don't chase the ghosts off because that's how we make money. And
Exactly.
I would just tell them, you've called the wrong guy. I'll see if I can recommend somebody to come and help you do that. You can't do that. And it's like one guy recently called me and he said, I know you're not going to think I'm crazy because I know you're not crazy and you have seen this before, but I uh, I am haunted by the ghost of an ex-wife from a previous life. I'm
Oh
all
no.
okay. Who am I to judge? I don't. He says, but I went ghost hunting at a place where there's a lot of, old cowboys and stuff,
Right.
and this ghost of a former wife from a previous life, she's a bit of a, I'm going to get hate mail here. She's a bit of a whore. And she was flirting with these
Mm.
guys and she invited this one man ghost to come back home with us. So now this man ghost is in my home. He just wants to be with my ex wife from a previous life by himself. So he's attacking me all the time. I would like you to come to my house and get rid of him, but don't get rid of my ex wife. Eyeball, it doesn't work like that, man. It's
No,
like,
it doesn't
come,
work like that.
everybody's got to
It
go,
doesn't work like that. I mean, we're lucky if we
Oh,
can get rid of things at all. I mean, you don't have selective cleansings here. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit crazy. But look, we're dealing with the unknown, and I can't blame people if they don't know how this stuff works. But I mean, a little common sense would be nice at times. I do think. Um, but yeah. So, but I
what do
agree
you
with
think
you.
about people that want, like, you hear of this? It happens to both men and women. You hear these stories of, I married a ghost, or I'm having a love affair with a
Oh,
ghost. What do you think about that?
I think it's fully possible that they can have an attachment and that it could be possibly, if that's happening, it's not good. I'll tell you that right now. It's probably a succubus or a
Incubus, yeah.
incubus, right? The male version. Um, that's yeah. I just don't see any positive in that at all. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, we don't know why ghosts hang around. I mean, we do think a lot of it might be unfinished business, or looking at it from a strictly Catholic perspective. And actually might write a book about this. That it might be a form of purgatory. And Saint Augustine actually thought that. that purgatory was more of a state of being, not an actual place, that they're stuck here maybe to learn the lessons they didn't learn in life before they make that ascension into what we call heaven, to the throne of God. So I know that's really theological, folks, but I'm here to also tell you that you really can't separate the paranormal from spirituality. It's all the same thing. So I do believe that. And I was actually at Sleepy Hollow Paracon. Me and Ron Iacovetti were having a great talk about this and why the Protestants don't accept the doctrine of purgatory anymore or anything like that. But yeah. So anyway, that's what I think. I think it could be a form of that. I know if you use that label purgatory, all of a sudden it's Catholic and people go, oh, no, 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 no. It's a state of being, folks. It's a state of being. It's where they are in their spiritual journey after death. So yeah, I kind of do believe that, but I'm not going to belabor that point. Could a spirit also be sticking around to protect the child they left behind? Oh, absolutely. Unfinished business. I do believe that. And also, I'm going to give you another one. To me, this is huge. And I outlined this in my first book. If you go, Protestants, they don't believe in purgatory, and they actually don't even believe you go to heaven as soon as you die. They believe in what's called the sleep. You sleep in your grave until the second coming of Christ, where everybody is resurrected. Now, if that's the case, you go to an old Victorian era cemetery and you have acres of sleeping spirits in these graves. They are here. And if you go ghost hunting and you wake them up, for lack of a better description, that could be a big reason for hauntings in a lot of cases, in my opinion. And really, if you really study this, folks, if you really delve into this, you can see this is a very plausible idea. Why we're getting a lot of ghosts on this plane of existence, because they believe they're not supposed to go up there yet. They believe you're supposed to stay here until the second coming.
Very interesting.
Isn't it?
I'm thinking about, you talk about these places that are all investigated out, and I saw
Right.
two. I'm gonna bring two things to your attention that I saw on your personal Facebook page, which I said, oh, I got to ask him about this. First, when I saw this, I'm like, that's got the Gallo family written all over it, and I could see them. I could see them there. That home, that beautiful 2 or 3 story home, that used to be a funeral parlor, that is now for sale, and they put the sign out front that said probably haunted.
Probably haunted. I saw that.
If you had the money, that would be a place to buy, and you can just imagine. I mean,
well, and I don't know if it would necessarily be haunted by ghosts or residual energy of all the emotions that have been spent in those places.
true.
Because, emotions that get soaked into the very fabric of the surroundings. I could go on and on about that. And I think that's the cause of most residual hauntings, because there is a difference between intelligent haunting and residual haunting. But yeah, either way, you would probably get activity there. But, really quick, we never went to these famous haunts once or twice, like the Castillo de San Marcos down in St. Augustine would be a great example of a famous haunt. But most of the times in our books, we go to the places you've never heard of before, and they've always been the most active, because the spirits there, they've never talked to anybody before. And that's why they were very, very willing to communicate with us.
Very, very cool. And then I telling that story about the ghosts getting a good laugh at my expense. I saw something that you posted about a ghost being impressed that your daughter could read.
Yes. We were at it was a Revolutionary War village. It was the Battle of Huck's Defeat, and it was in South Carolina. And we were going through some of the old houses, because it was you were able to go in and out of the houses yourself, which I thought was awesome, perfect for ghost hunting. And my daughter, who was 8 years old at the time, we were getting words through an Ovilus device. ITC device, instrumental transcommunication device. And I wanted to see if the names that were coming through matched any of the names that they had listed, previous residents of the town. So my little 8-year-old daughter, she starts reading off the names. All of a sudden, this EVP comes through as clear as day, says, "Can you read?" crazy because back then an 8-year-old girl probably didn't read. So it was just one of those mind-boggling moments and one of those landmark EVPs. We've gotten tons of EVPs that would just blow your mind. And to me, that's still the most, I mean, that's the industry standard of paranormal evidence, that and maybe, you know, full body apparitions, if you caught them legitimately. Not saying that a lot of them on the web aren't, but you know, photo apps right now, there's a lot of
Well,
fraudulent ones out there.
being a former or still kind of in it, uh, famous magician, and having done what you do for a long period of time, you have an eye for that too, and you know.
Yeah,
I know that you can kind of tell.
absolutely. And I get, you know, and unfortunately, I pop a lot of bubbles on Facebook and social media when people present a paranormal picture, and I tell them, folks, that's an app, that's a photo app, and I give them the reasons why. I said, look, I believe in the paranormal. Okay, I've caught full body apparitions. I want to believe this stuff is real that you people are posting, but sometimes it's not, and I got to call it out because fraudulent evidence does not help anybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the flip side of that coin, I used to share a lot of evidence from some of these darker cases. And I one time, I was the member of a really large psychic Facebook page, and I shared a bunch of evidence there once. And I got so many people so upset with me, not because they were fake, but this is a psychic group, and I believe that there's a certain amount of energy attached to photos, no matter how you present them, whether it's physical photo or
Sure,
transference of
sure.
energy to the web. And a lot of people in that group got violently ill from seeing these photos of demonic entities and things, possessed people and stuff, and they got very upset with me. And so I'm very careful about doing that. I don't really can't remember the last time I shared any evidence, because I got to the point where, you know, I'm not really trying to, I don't know what word I'm searching for here. I just got to a point where I just really don't do it any longer. I share it sometimes with the client, and even then I'm careful because I've had bad experiences where even though the client knows there's something going on and they've reached out to me for help, there's something different when you actually show them that proof. I don't know what that is, but
Well,
I'm thinking of a time where I showed this woman a picture of this headless apparition that was floating around upstairs in her home. It had no hands and feet, and when I showed her the picture of it, she fainted. And if I wasn't standing there to grab her, she would have fallen down 2 flights of stairs and probably got very hurt. So I'm very
right.
careful about that too.
Yeah. And just recently I was at dinner with a pretty well-known psychic medium. And I didn't know, you know, I've never had any experiences with him, and it was the first time I met him, and I didn't know how genuine he was. And you know, I got to be honest with you, but I showed him the picture of our most famous piece of evidence, which is a full body apparition. This is the truth. He looks at it and he looks up at Renee and he goes, "Have you ever had an attachment?" We never talk about this. Matter of fact, I probably talked about it more on this show than we've ever talked about it before. And it just goes to show you the power that these pictures have.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you 100%.
Well, before we run out of time, it is almost 10 till I've got probably 8 minutes before I have to.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you got a
I do. I do. I have something. Now, I got to tell the audience right now. And
Okay.
by the way, hello, Nigel, Angela, and Jennifer. I know you guys have been typing in the chat, and I just wanted to acknowledge you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing that. I'm terrible at doing that. My eyes never just.
Well,
I'm so
I
into
know
talking to my guests.
I know I'm Facebook friends with Jennifer, so I wanted to give her a shout out for coming on. Think that's great. But you know, before we were called paranormal investigators, we were called psychic investigators. This was psychic phenomenon. So we're going to do a psychic trick. These are ESP cards. These were developed at Duke University for testing extrasensory perception. You'll also notice the entire time I've had an envelope here. And the reason that's there is so you can see that I'm not tampering with that. Inside that envelope, there's actually a psychic prediction. That's right, a psychic prediction. Now, Rev, right here we have a square, correct?
Okay, you're not getting ready to shock me like Bill Murray in Ghostbusters.
No, I might. That's a square, right, Rev?
Correct.
Okay.
I've got a couple nickels I can rub
We
together.
have a
if you
square.
shock
Come up,
me.
guys, play along with the magician. Okay. We have squiggly lines.
Yeah.
We have a plus sign.
Okay.
Okay. We also have a circle. And I missed one there. I'll miss this one. And we have a star.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. Now, I'm going to try to keep these in camera the whole time. I'm going to turn them around and I'm going to give the cards a cut so we don't know the positions of the cards. Now, Rev, this is what we're going to do. I am going to shift these cards one at a time from the front to the back. You just say stop anywhere you'd like.
Stop.
Right there. That one?
Yeah.
That's the one. Now, I'm going to give you one more chance to go one further, or you can keep this one.
I'll keep that one.
You're going to keep this one. Okay, Rev, this is what you've selected. Are you ready? Very clearly, the star. Okay, going to put that aside. Now, you almost had the plus sign. If you would have stopped me once before, you would have had the circle, but you didn't. You picked the star. Okay. Are we ready? Now we're going to take this. That's been in view the entire time. I'm going to open it up. There's a card in there. I am also going to show everybody there's nothing else in the envelope. Let's get that in camera. You can see nothing else in the envelope. Are you ready? The star. There it is, folks. The Rev is psychic. Not psycho, psychic. The difference. There we go. What do you mean, Zach? Come on.
No, I'm talking about the psychic psycho thing.
Oh! I thought you were talking about
good trick. Good trick.
You need to specify there. You need to
it.
specify. You almost blew my ego. You really did.
No. I love the trick. I just wish you would have shocked him.
You know what's fun? You know what's tough about the trick? If I'm standing up and I'm performing, it's very easy, but you got to keep everything in camera here. And I got this little space here to kind of like put the card and show the inside of the envelope. It's a little bit more difficult. Normally, if I was doing this live, I'd have Rev hold the envelope the whole time, and
Well, it's I don't know. You don't. Maybe you are doing it. I don't know. But you are sending out something when you're doing this trick, and people ask me all the time if I'm gifted, and I always tell them no. But I know that to a certain degree, to be able to be successful in this field, you have to have some of that. My wife's even more gifted than that, but I saw that as you were doing the trick. So it's a matter of, I think you at that moment, and disagree with me if you want to, because but I think you psychically probably project that. You're projecting images, whether you think you are or not, as you're doing those cards. And I think at the point you got to the star, I saw that and I said, stop. Maybe I wouldn't have seen another image beyond that. I don't know. But at that moment I saw that. And I think you were projecting that. I don't know. That's just a theory.
Well, I can't say that is or it isn't, because I'd be blowing the secret of the trick. But look, nobody believes in psychic phenomena more than I do. And, when you're doing magic, you got to leave it up to the audience to draw their own conclusions. The good thing about it is it worked. And people say, well, that's just 1 out of 5. And a lot of people say, what would have happened if I would have picked a different card? And my answer always is, well, you didn't. And for that, I thank you. So,
well, brother, in a couple of minutes we have left, tell everybody that what they need to know about you
Yes.
and Gallo Family Ghost Hunters
Yes.
and the books and the website and all that. Lay it out.
Okay. Both of the books, Family Spirits 1 and Family Spirits 2. Family Spirits 1 is available through Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Family Spirits 2 is only available through Barnes & Noble because we had an exclusive deal with that one through them. But if you go to ghosthunter.ws, and that is the, you can see that right beneath my name here, ghosthunter.ws, that's our link tree. On our link tree is our entire paranormal world. It's our web series. It's where you can order the books. And it's all of our social media. So it's the only link you need to know. Ghosthunter.ws, not .com, .ws.
And I know he's listening, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this out to you real quick before I say goodbye. If you ever want to know what to get Zach for his birthday or Christmas, a hat. He loves your hats.
Yeah,
loves
this one,
your
I
hats.
like this one. I got this through American Hat Makers. I've had this for about 10 years now. It's just like, I wear it in all my performances.
Well, brother, if I was there, I'd give you a big hug and a kiss. I love you. I respect you.
Right back to
I
you.
always, you and your family are on the prayer list. I pray for you guys often.
Oh, we can use it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your busy Friday to spend with me and my paraministry family. And give the whole family a big hug from me, and have a wonderful, wonderful remainder to your Friday evening and a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Rev. We really appreciate it. We love you too.
Got it, brother. I'll talk to you later. Bobby J. Gallo, Gallo Family Ghost Hunters. That was cool. Yeah, I couldn't help but think of the, and I was just watching the last, I don't know how many people have seen the last legit sequel to the Ghostbusters series, Afterlife. I loved it. In the very end, if you wait for the credits to be gone, there's a little scene between Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray where he's hooked up to and she's shocking him with the cards. It's brilliant. All right, guys. What do I want to tell you guys? This Monday, October 1st or October 2nd, this is going to be a really special Monday ministry memory. I've done some digging. I came up with the classic of all classic memories off of past archives. That was a big hit that I'm going to show on Monday. But I'll be back with a new live show next Friday, the 6th. It's my monthly series, Christian Supernatural with Ira Wolfnison, demonologist. She will be here next Friday, the 6th. USOCC.org or bishopjameslong.com. Go to either one of those sites and you should find the links to Night Prayer, which is every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, or Bible Study, which is every Wednesday and Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Pacific. There's also a United States Old Catholic Church clergy and parishioners Facebook page that you can go and check out. And if you want to join, all are welcome, no judgment. We welcome everybody. So that's that. I want to thank Adrian and Zach Clayton, my co-producers, for doing the show, because without them, there would be no show. I'm that computer illiterate. Thank you. Go to Zach's website. Check it out, communitypayitforward.us. Communitypayitforward.us. Just go there. Be pleasantly surprised. You won't regret it. Everybody's still asking me about the show. Eli Roth presents The Legion of Exorcists. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus and Max. You can also buy the complete season 1 at Amazon Prime Video. So that's there. No word yet on a season 2. You can find me now on Facebook under Lawrence Morace, LAWRENCE, Morace, MORACE. Shawn Patrick Whittington in parentheses is right after that. My original profile got deactivated or hacked. I don't know what happened. It just disappeared. Facebook won't get back to me. So that's where you can find me now. And the story as to how I came up with the stage name Lawrence Morace is all there too. You can read about that. All the networks that I am now a part of. The newest is Spirit Alabama Paranormal Investigators. They're going to make their very popular Facebook group page. a network. Uh, I don't know if I'm live there today. There were some issues. You'll definitely catch the replay of today's show there, but probably next week
Yeah,
I should.
not quite yet. Not quite yet. I've still got to get admin to that. So,
Very
but
cool.
we'll get on to it.
Alrighty, that'll probably maybe Monday, maybe next Friday. But that's the newest network to jump on board. But I want to thank Things Network. I want to thank Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. I want to thank Skeleton Key Network. And most importantly, Pact. Little P, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel. For all these networks simulcasting my show, God bless you for that. And what's next? I think it's bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. Speaking of hats. And now I'm going to try to put a smile on everybody's face before I say goodbye and have a great weekend. How do you catch a bra with a booby trap? Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace.